My friends, after Gus Hansen retired from high-stakes poker for one day, he has made his triumphant return. And guys, I could not be more shocked that Gus is back. After we had Gus on my podcast yesterday, he talked about how he wasn't going to be playing. He wasn't going to be playing any more high-stakes poker online, maybe once in a while. But today, he's spotted with a $300,000 stack at the 100-200 game on Party Poker. And, we've done a couple of these rails in the past with Isildur's been in the mix. Today we have Loose Leon, Kings of Leon over there. Gus has position on him. We got Sam Trickett in the game as well. We got Swordfish AA. I think that's a young German tournament. I actually don't know who that is. We have Gaina D from Sweden, Big Fish 1-1 from Russia. So I don't know who these three guys are right now, but we'll put a little bit into that. And yeah, man, but we're here. We're going to do a live stream here. Guys, I have to take full responsibility. Oh, Leon, what's Leon got here? I might need to turn the animation back on. But I told Gus about this game. And, listen, if he's going to be playing online at the 100-200 game, it's better to be playing in this lineup than playing against fucking a bunch of guys who may or may not be using out-of-line activity or out-of-line software, man. So I think this is going to be a good game for Gus to play in. But I don't know who these other three guys are. Hopefully we will find out more about who these guys are from people in the chat. And yeah, man. Oh, man. Oh, finally watching live video instead of commentating on 1 and 2-year-old vids, Clinton Clark says. That's very true, Poppy. That's very true. Yeah, Sean, tell a Twitch to come here, man. Let's get in this action. Let's see what happens here, man. So as you can see, Gus has position on Leon. As we know, my boy Loose Leon, he's a very loose pot limit Omaha player. He enjoys getting the money in. And yeah. So Gus looks like he's limping in here from the gun +1. I'm liking. We need to balance our lips. Our limping range is from under the gun +1. So I'm gonna like it if Gus is gonna be limping in at least 30% of the time from under the gun +1. So I like that. He gets check raise from Ghana D. Most people aren't gonna check raise a naked 6-7 here, just because when you do get called, there's a lot of bad turn cards for your hand. So if most people have just 6-7. They will usually just check call. And the turn does come the club. It's going to be a good card for Gus. Gus could turn some of his bluffs or some of his straights into bluffs here if he has like an ace-deuce type hand, aka the Mexican straight. He might turn that into a bluff. If he has some type of set or two pair, he could turn that into a bluff as well. River pairs the board, and Gaina goes for a little 2/3 pot bet, and Gus folds pretty quickly. Not really sure what Gus could have had there. Could have had like a 5-6 type of hand, a pair with a gut shot type of hand. But yeah, man, it's going to be back Gus mixing up here with the min raise under the gun. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. He gets 3-bet by Swordfish in position. So, guys, they're very deep. Loose Leon with the cold call from this big blind. They're $260,000 deep here, guys. So that's very, very deep stacked here. Very, very deep stacked here for sure. It's a 9-9-5 board. We can assume Leon's going to have some fives in his range here for sure. But yeah, man, we haven't done a live stream in a while like this, man. Listen, I'm excited. I think the buy-in here is, I don't actually know what the buy-in is. I think it probably is 20K, but it could be 40K. It could be 200 big blinds. I'm not really positive. Not really positive here. So board comes out at 8, and Gus with a nice merged bet here on the river, 800 into 4600, and it takes it down pretty quickly. I like that play from Gus. Little blocking bet there. I liked it. He might not want to check, face a big bet from Swordfish, and then have to fold his hand. I like that blocking bet. I'm not sure if that is solver approved, but yeah, it could be something to look around with, to mess around with. So I'm trying to figure out how to turn back on animation. Normally I keep animation off, but I'm going to put animation back on because, yeah, we're going to put animation back on here. So does anybody out here know who Swordfish AA or Big Fish 1-1 or Gaina Diaz? Please let me know. But yeah, man, my boy David Huber, one of the best reporters, one of the best. I don't know, man. This guy's a lot of everything. He is a reporter. He's a journalist, man. He's an investigator. I swear to God, man, I love this man's work so much. Shout out to David Huber. He does really great stuff. Follow him on Twitter. He puts out a lot of stuff just about a number of different things when it comes to content, when it comes to strategy, when it comes to legal news, when it comes to my stuff, when it comes to pretty much everything in poker. So big shout out to him, man. This is on Party Poker, guys. Party Poker, the new destination for high-stakes poker action. I'm not sure. Yeah, Swordfish AA is Manic Loser. That was the person I was thinking about. I thought he played tournaments, but apparently he plays Pot Limit Omaha with 300K stack here, so I'm liking that. So Leon raises pot in the cutoff here. I don't expect Gus to be folding very often here in position. Sam 3-bets from the small blind here. Very deep, 80K deep here. So I don't think Gus is going to be folding many hands, if any hand in position here. And then he goes ahead and bets half pot here as a C-bet. Loose Leon makes the call with about 11K behind. Let's see what Gus does here. We can see a big pot here, guys. Gus calls, that turns the club. So I think if anybody had the nut flush draw, they'd probably jam it in on the flop. If one of them had the king high flush draw with the top pair, I think Leon always going to jam that. Gus might just call that hand on the flop. Not really sure, but I think this is going to be a better turn card for Sam than it is for Gus. I think Gus is going to pot most of his nut flush draws on the flop, but maybe not. He does call. So he's indicating he either has a straight or he has a weak flush here. Now Sam has a decision. Is he going to bet pot or will he check? We'll see here. So $46,000 in the middle here. I mean, Gus could have like some fucking 5-6-4. He does bet pot. Okay. Will Gus call down? Gus is in the tank. He probably has like a queen high, jack high flush, something like that. Might have 3-4 sometimes with one club blocker. Could have some random 2 pair as well with a blocker. Maybe thinking about hero calling. Like king 5, potentially. Maybe with a king of clubs blocker. He's got a very wide range pre-flop, so I think he has more unconnected hands in his range than most players are going to have here. He is tanking. I can be your hero, baby. Get him, Gus! What's he going to do? I think he's going to call. Calls, and Sam Trickett has a nuts. 140K pot goes Sam's way. Just like that, our hero Gus Hansen loses a massive pot. So I do like Sam's play there. He went with the half pot sizing on the flop. Like his sizing on the turn. Went for pot on the river there. Gus wakes up the next hand. Min raises the cutoff. Let's see if Gus is going to tilt a little bit. So Jason in the chat says, Duwowd, Big Fish 1-1. Wait, what is this? I don't understand this at all. Yeah, Gus is not in a good spot here. If for him to be this deep stack and him be out of position against Sam and Swordfish, well, we got a pot here. So gain a squeeze from the small blind. Looks like both players are going to call here. Jack 9-5. This money's getting all in here. We know a lot of someone's going to have wraps here. 2 pairs. The money's going in here from 2 players. Gain a checks pretty quickly. Not a good board for aces. If you have aces here and you're up against 3 players, it's going to connect with a lot of their ranges, unfortunately. So checks the Swordfish. He bets 11,000 into 14.9K. I could see Gus potentially check calling here, but no, he does fold, and Swordfish takes it down. Yeah, it's not a good board for if you're gaining the small blind. You have aces or kings there, and even if you do check, I guess you could check. I mean, I guess I don't know. Yeah, Jack 9-5 Rainbow is not a good board for an overpair. Right back into it the next hand here. Loose Leon. 3 bets from the big blind, and Gus and Swordfish call. Like I said, Gus is just kind of in a bad spot here because he's so deep and he's going to be out of position against Sam and Swordfish, but he's in position against Leon. So he's going to end up in spots like this where he's going to be willing to get it in against Leon here, where Leon's got 13K. Like if Leon 3 bets here, Gus is going to call, just pot this flop like a 7. Who fuck knows what Gus is going to pot this flop with. But now that he has Swordfish behind him, going to do something like this, he has to be a little bit more considerate about what exactly he does in spots like this, and he doesn't want to overplay certain hands just because Leon's in the hand when he has Sam or Swordfish behind him. So here you go. He does go ahead and check this turn here, the deuce. Let's see what happens here. So I can see Gus calling a 3-bet there, flopping like a 7 with a gut shot with backdoor diamonds, just betting the flop. Happy to get it in against Leon, but yeah, not happy to play against big pot against Swordfish. He does check call this turn. I could see him potentially bluffing this river, actually. I could see him leading here with some of his missed straights. Probably a little bit unbalanced here in his lead range if he does decide to lead the river here. Like an 8, 9, 10 type hand, I think he probably just leads. But if he has a nut flush, I think he probably bets the turn himself. If he's got a king high flush, I don't think he leads the turn, so he does pot the turn here. I could see a hero call from Swordfish. What could Swordfish have as a hero call? Maybe a straight sometimes, maybe 2 pair, something like that. Obviously could have a flush draw himself. I could see maybe Gus does this with like a queen high flush sometimes. But I don't think so. But he does take it down. It is just a really good spot to... I mean, I think it's a pretty good spot to potentially lead there as a bluff with a missed straight draw and a 1 pair type hand. I think that when the straight gets there, sometimes your opponent might think you... I mean, you could potentially be bluffing there. You could be turning a straight into a bluff there if you happen to have that, like a 6-8. So if you're thinking about hero calling with 2 pair or with a set, then it might make you just slightly less inclined to want a hero call. But I don't know if that's going to be true for everyone or not. But I do think that most players are pretty unbalanced in a spot like that. But when they are this deep, there might be some chance that Gus does check that nut flush draw on the turn and does check call instead of betting himself. I don't think so. Would he do that with the king high flush, check call, bet the flop, check call turn, and then pot the river with the king high flush? I'm not sure if he would do that with the king high flush or not. I think he has to do it with the king high flush if he's going to be bluffing so much, which I think he's probably going to be bluffing there a lot. And looks like we're going to see another big pot here. So Leon check raises here. 15,500. Let's see what Gus does. Once again, in a weird spot. He pots it. Okay, never mind. He's committing his money in the middle here. Big Fish is tanking. He's not immediately folding. Does he want to put in 90,000 here on the flop? Well, this could be a big pot here, guys. So Big Fish, will he commit $55,000 here? Already has $2,400 invested. A slightly large amount of money more to invest. I don't think you just call here. I think you put in the 90K, Big Fish 1-1. My young Russian friend. He's tanking. What could he be tanking with? Probably a combination draw type of hand. Maybe 2 pair. No, I don't think so. I don't actually know what he could be tanking with this long. Probably a weaker combination draw. Gus has a straight draw and a flush draw. He misses. He's in pretty bad shape there. Yeah, he was in pretty bad shape there. Leon had the top pair with the king high flush draw. Gus had a straight, he had a wrap with a weak flush draw too, so not in very good shape. Leon doubles up. But it's not the worst case for Leon to double up here because Gus is in position, and Leon here comes out fucking firing the next hand. He squeezes the button. So now he's got a little bit of chips to play with. He's got 41K. Sam colds 4 bets to the big blind here. We might see a massive pot. He calls, flops 9-9-6. This is kind of a spot where Leon either has a 9 or he doesn't have a 9. So Sam's going to wager $33,000 to possibly figure out here. If he bets small, I see him bet calling. If he bets big, I mean, I don't see him ever. Yeah, I think that Leon can shove with too many wraps here for Sam to ever bet fold here. And now on the turn, I think he's going to always bet pot here. But he does check. Interesting. I guess he doesn't have queen or something like that. I don't know. He could be slow playing. He might have pocket kings, something like that, maybe. Very unusual to not just go all in there with aces. So I think he's probably slow playing a hand here. Or he might just have air. He bets 1/4 pot. I wonder if Leon will hero call him with something. Maybe like a 6 or jacks or something like that. Maybe 10s. Maybe. But I think Sam rather probably has a super strong hand there or complete air to not just go ahead and bet the turn. Because I think if he has aces, he's just going to pot the turn because he can get it in against a lot of straight draws and flush draw, straight draw, flush draw combination type hands. If he has aces, he's probably not check folding there ever. So if he has a 9, he's going to lose it all anyway. But I think he gets a lot of value from Leon by just potting the turn there. So I think he either had a... Although if he did have a super strong hand, he should probably just have bet anyway. So I think he more likely had air than a strong hand there. Oh, man. Dude, these guys are fucking crazy, bro. What the hell's happening here? My man Leon does not have the ability to fold, it looks like. So yeah, chin rockable, a stream of consciousness analysis. Yeah, when I don't look at the chat and I just look at the table, I just have a million thoughts going through my mind. So Leon opened up the queen 10 5-9 with three spades there. So you guys can see Leon's range. He raised there with queen 10 5-9 with queen 10 5 of spades from under the gun +1. So in that position, if you're Gus, you should be 3-betting a bunch. You should be playing a lot of hands in position because we can assume that we're going to be able to outplay Leon post flop. So Leon does 4-bet here after Sam 3-bets. And Sam calls, flops 5-5 deuce. I think Leon's going to go all in here with all of his hands. He does. Sam potentially could have an overpair with a flush draw here, and he's going to call. He might have a naked flush draw and call it off here as well, too. It might be a spot where he's a little bit more inclined to gamble because he is in position against Leon. So if Leon does win that big pot, he's going to be able to capitalize on it a little bit easier than if he was out of position against Leon. And I think that matters a little bit because if you're going to be in position against a player who's playing a large majority of his hands, then you might be more inclined to want to gamble it up with him. Also might be good. I mean, I actually don't know because they play a lot together, but it might be good to show your opponent that you are willing to gamble in some spots sometimes, especially in a spot like that where if you do gamble with him, you're still in a good position at the table to be able to win money back from him very, very quickly, very, very soon after. I guess it's like an advanced idea to think about when it comes to playing with fun players or not. So Swordfish stacks him there. Anticlimactic $40,000 pot. But yeah, kind of on that idea. So a lot of times you're playing against certain fun players who, like, no matter what their stack size is, well, we get back to this hand here. So Leon 3-bets, Gus cold 4-bets, and yeah, we might see a big pot here. So Leon clicks it back. Leon clicks it back. He clicked it back in a 5-bet here. Okay. So Gus is in the tank. Gus will not be folding, guys. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I do think if he was going to go all in, he would have done it already. So maybe. Oh, he does 5-bet, 6-bet. Leon's all in. Ace, King, Jack, 4. Oh my God. A pair for Leon. Oh no, he's drawing dead. Gus is drawing quads for Leon. The backdoor quad draw gets there. Oh my God. Some very questionable play happening. I mean, whatever. 200 big blinds is what it is. Leon takes down the $80,000 pot. So Gus cold 4-bet the Ace, King, Jack, 4 with Ace, King of diamonds, Jack, 4 of spades. Leon puts it all in with Ace, King, 10-9. And Leon flops top pair, turn strips, makes the backdoor quad draw, stacks Gus for $40,000. Yeah, don't do it, Gus. Get him, Gus. Get him. So kind of going back to that idea I talked about against being in position against fun players. So you're going to be playing against certain fun players that you know are going to, no matter if they're winning a lot or losing a lot, although Leon in the past has shown a tendency that when he's up a lot or when he has a big chip stack at the table, he tightens up a little bit. And when he has that 20, 40K, he tends to play pretty wild. So when you play with a player like that, you always want to think about, all right, if this player gets to 500, 600 big blinds, are they just playing a lot differently and debatably better than they play at 100, 200, 300 big blind depth stack? And then you might start making different decisions when it comes to potentially playing a big pot with that person in a sort of a higher variance kind of spot. But you're going to play with some fun players who it doesn't matter how deep they are. You want them as deep as possible because they're just making terrible decisions. But I do think most fun players are making, they're making very bad decisions 100 big blinds deep. And they might be making slightly less bad decisions once you get super deeper. But those very deep stack situations when they make these big mistakes, those are fucking costly. So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting topic, interesting spot you can go back and forth on and kind of figure out what would you prefer. I think it's going to be different for every fun player. But I think as a default, most people would say, oh, I want the fun player to be as deep as possible. But I do think that's not always going to be the case for everyone. So Leon must be studying with the solver lately. He goes with $4,700 pot here or bet on the river here. A very solver. Maybe he's been watching. Gus raises. Gus is saying, fuck that. $38,000 raise here on the river. Flush does get there on the river, but I don't. Gus definitely could have a flush here. Leon folds. Gus takes it down. $67,000 pot. Back up to $210,000. Like I said, guys, if Gus does win $1 million, I will fly to Monaco and I will help him spend the money. We don't know how much money Gus started with. It's also interesting to note, or it's interesting to note, but it is something to note that when you play with certain players, even if they do run up a big stack at the table, but they lose a big pot, like Leon just lost that big pot, sometimes the next hand they have the next couple of hands, they might have a tendency to over tilt when they probably shouldn't be tilting. So you might look at a player and say, oh, that guy's playing pretty solid, but then when he loses one or two big pots, the next couple of hands he's making pretty big mistakes in the long run, and then you might want to potentially open up your range a little bit and maybe gamble it up with that player in moments like that. Even some regulars are like that too, where they might be playing solid and then all of a sudden they lose a big pot or take a beat, and then they're just start playing pretty poorly the next maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes. And that could be a spot where you might adjust your strategy against them. So Swordfish isolated here. Leon leads pot from the big blind. Who knows what he might have. But Swordfish calls, and the turn is the ace of hearts, and Leon pots again, basically saying he has the king high flush. Guys, this is definitely my fault Gus is playing this game, by the way, because on the podcast I told him there was this game, and if he's going to play online poker, he should play this game instead of playing with 6 seed scripters. So here we are. Oh, man. Gus is in for 2 bullets, Victor Ann says. Thank you, sir. So Leon once again 3-bet here. As you can see, Leon loves 3-betting. Goes ahead and pops this flop. Queen Jack 3. Swordfish does call. Turns to 6 of spades. They are very deep here. Let's see what Leon's going to do. Checks here on the turn. So we have seen Leon. He is capable of throwing in a little bit of check raise with a very strong hand. So just because he checks doesn't mean he's always going to be check giving up here. So 10 comes down the river. A lot of the straights get there. 8-9, king 9. So Swordfish bets 2,500 into 14.3K. So this is a pretty inducing type of bet here. It might induce your opponent if he has a hand like naked aces or something like that to raise. So Leon check raise is really small, and he's got the nuts. What the fuck? I don't even know what's happening there. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. I think Leon is not check raising small there with enough bluffs in his range, I'm going to say. But wow, that was pretty sick. So Leon, ace, king, queen, 5, flop, top pair, bet pot on the flop. Turn when check, check. River, he makes the nut straight, and his opponent bets 1,500 into 40, or 2,500 into 4,500, and he check raises to 6,500. Leon is evolving. I like Leon. Shout out to Leon for evolving with that play right there. that was a play right there. So as you can see, Gaina, D, and Big Fish are playing pretty snug. I mean, I think they're playing pretty snug when we compare them to Leon. And they are out of position against Leon, who's playing 100% of his hands, and he's also 3-betting a lot too. So overall, you're probably going to have to play a lot tighter, unfortunately. So we could see a pot here. I think Sam led flop. Both players called. Turns the 10. I think Sam's going to show up here with some combo draws. Like a 6, 7, 9 type hand, maybe with diamonds as well. Although I don't think that's the best hand to lead, because if you do get raised, you're probably going to get it in you're probably going to call. And I don't think that's the best. I think the better hands to lead here are going to be stronger combination draw type hands with a big flush draw and a open and straight draw type hand. So he pots the turn, and Swordfish raises here. I guess Swordfish is saying he has 10-8 right now, potentially with a redraw to go along with it. So Sam does call. River's the jack, so those 7-9 gets there, and the queen 9 gets there. Be a tough spot for Swordfish if Sam does decide to bet this river. I do think Sam is going to have those straight draw type the combination draw type hands here. So he does bet the river 38,000. Let's see what Swordfish does. If Swordfish has a 9 in his hand with 2 pair, he might be more inclined to call here. But he does fold. Sam takes down the $90,000 pot. That's kind of the problem with that turn, where if you do have a 10-8, maybe you have 10-8 queen jack there with the gut shot to the nut straight, but no diamond draw. There's going to be a lot of bad river cards for you that when your opponent does lead there, you're going to be definitely going to be in a spot. So it might make you more inclined to want to just call there. But I think with Leon behind, maybe it makes it more of a raise. I wouldn't expect Sam to come over the top of us when we do raise that turn. But yeah, a fun spot in Pot Limit Omaha right there. So Sam squeezes on the button here. Or not a squeeze. No, I think it's called a squeeze. Squeeze was more of a no limit hold and full ring term. I don't think at PLO we use the squeeze play because we're not squeezing anybody out of the pot because everyone pretty much calls. But we're going to see a flop here because Swordfish cold calls from the small blind. All the players call. Queen 10, 3, rainbow. Very, very deep here, guys. Very, very deep here. So Swordfish leads out here. I could see him leading here with Queen 10, Jack 9 type hand. I think if he has a set, he'll probably check raise. I think so. I think that's true. Maybe it's reversed for some players. I don't know. As you can see, Sam is playing very aggressive this session. He's got a great seat. Gus and Leon are opening up way too many hands, so Sam is going to be able to 3-bet a ton in position. And then obviously Swordfish in position on there. He's gonna be able to play. In theory, he should be able to 4-bet lighter preflop as well, but I don't think he should probably be 4-betting that light preflop. I think he more likely has he's in a good spot to just call with. He probably doesn't want to overcall though, because I feel like when I'm in a Swordfish's spot and I'm very deep with a dynamic like this, I end up cold calling too many hands preflop that aren't drawing to the nuts. So then I get into a 3-bet spot like that where I'm on the button, I call, Gus calls, Sam calls, and then I flop some sort of marginal draws, and then I end up putting a lot of money in post flop in these very deep kind of spots like that, and then I end up making bad decisions with marginal hands on the turn and river. So I feel like I get a little bit overzealous, and I'm like, oh, I'm super deep, I'm in position, I can call with this double suited type of hand that's to the queen high flush draw and the jack high flush draw or something like that, and then I just get myself into spots, unfortunately. So Leon has trips, and he gets rivered, unfortunately, by Ghana. They both had the ace-3 there. So, guys, we don't know how much everyone's in at this table for. We just kind of tuned in. Allegedly, Gus is in for 2 buy-ins. I don't know how much anyone else is. If somebody does know, let me know. So Gaina does end up doubling up there to 41,000. Gaina D from Sweden. So Leon once again 3-bets here. So I don't think Leon is really changing his 3-bet range depending on what his stack size is, which is very good for the other players in the game and very bad for loose Leon. Because if you're 3-betting the ace, queen, 10, 3 with queen high clubs here, 300 big blinds deep, and also 100 big blinds deep, like queen, queen, 10 deuce, that hand. Yeah, I mean, that's that could be an okay hand to 3-bet 100 big blinds deep and then just pot and pray a lot of flops, but 300 big blinds deep. Probably going to get you into some spots. But it's okay. Leon loses the minimum there and goes to 3-bet. So I think Leon's better off just 3-betting in position like this. And he calls a 4-bet from Big Fish. So they're 60K deep here. 10-Jack 3 going to be very, very good for Big Fish's range with a lot of those high rundown type hands and the aces and kings. He's going to flop over pairs with backdoor flush draws here and gut shots here pretty often. He calls. He bets flop. Leon calls. Pots 40K. 5 of spades in the turn. Brings a potential backdoor flush draw. Pots it. All in. Leon. Very, yeah. Leon. It's definitely the problem with the 5-8, 7-10 there, guys. So Leon 3-bet the 5-8, 7-10 with 3 clubs. Called the 4-bet. Big Fish had king, jack, 9-10 double suited. Flopped the top 2 pair with the gut shot. Kind of like we said, he's probably going to have that's a very, 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 very strong. It's a very, very good flop for his range. So, and yeah, he does flop the top 2 pair. Leon had the 10 with the backdoor clubs and the gut shot straight draw to the Mexican straight. He turned 2 pair on the 5, and he is drawing pretty slim on the river, and he gets stacked. So, yeah, it's not good. Definitely the problem when definitely the problem for sure. 3-betting that hand pre-flop. So yeah, this is kind of what happens when you're in a spot like a Big Fish. You're 300 big blinds deep, but you decide to 4-bet the king, jack, 9-10 double suited. Some players would choose not to 4-bet that hand because it isn't they might perceive it as one of their premium hands, but it's kind of something I think you have to do it when you're playing against guys who are 3-betting a hand like a 5-8, 7-10, and they're 3-betting super, super wide. I think when you have a hand like king, jack, 9-10, you do have to 4-bet that hand, and when the flop comes down ace high and you end up getting stacked when the guy makes a pair of... Leon. Yeah, Leon gets stacked again here with king, queen, 7-7. But yeah, I think it's something a lot of players don't want to do because they don't want to end up getting a spot where they 4-bet their pre-flop. Flop comes down like, ace 8, 5 or something like that. And then they have king, jack, 9-10. They don't know what to do. I don't know. I guess it's something to think about. If you are a player who isn't super comfortable playing 300 big blinds deep without very, very strong hands, then maybe you don't want to 4-bet king, jack, 9-10 there because you don't want to get into a spot where you're unsure what to do and you're making a mistake for 300 big blinds against a real fun player when you could potentially wait for a better spot. I think there's definitely some merit in that argument, though. Like, for instance, if you decide to 4-bet there and you're just not really sure what to do on some flops or what size to go with or whatever, I do think the hand kind of plays itself, but there are going to be some boards where you might not be sure what you should do. Meaning, should you bet full pot? Should you bet half pot? I guess it's if you're going to check fold sometimes, it's probably not bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that's always a 4-bet spot there in Big Fish's situation? Because I do think for some players, if they don't know what to do with the king, jack, 9-10 there, that they might be better off just calling it instead of 4-betting there. I don't know. I'll lull in the action now. We don't know how long they've been playing for. Maybe someone out there does, Jeremy, but I am not sure how long they've been playing for. So we got a lot of big stacks here, guys. Certainly is potential for a very massive pot here if we get the right board. I think in a time like this, when Leon's playing this loose, I think a lot of the other players are just going to tighten up a lot and look to play hands with Leon. And I mean, it's kind of unavoidable because Leon is playing almost all of his hands. So people are saying my hair is almost as loose as Leon's range. Yeah, I could see that. That's pretty true, guys. You're right. I'm not going to disagree with you. So Sam goes ahead and bets 5,000 here into 7,000. Leon calls bad turn card for Leon, the 3 of clubs. Does give him some flush draws with straight draws, though. Sam pots it. Leon's tanking. Like I said, Leon could have it. Yeah, he's got the 3. Oh, bang, bang. Yeah, the full house, actually. Okay. So Leon had the 7, 8, 3, 4. He just called the flop with the bottom 2 pair. And then he kind of slow rolled him on the turn. He made the full house. Leon there. So you can kind of see what Sam's range is pre-flop. Sam 3-bet there with the ace, queen, queen 5 with the 1 suit. And that's kind of a question that I sometimes think of. Actually, I want to make sure the actual one is right there. Yeah, so he was small blind, and then Swordfish was the big blind. Yeah, I think that is a very loose 3-bet pre-flop, but I definitely know I do that too. Against a player who I know is opening so many hands, I start 3-betting a hand like ace, queen, queen 5. Also, there is some merit to pushing Swordfish out of the pot in the big blind there. But I think sometimes I overdo it a little bit, where when you really look at the equities there pre-flop against a 50 to 60% range pre-flop, ace, queen, queen 5 isn't necessarily doing that well against it. So I don't think it's a big mistake to call or fold there in Sam's spot in the small blind. I would imagine that 3-betting there. Oh man, I feel like I get myself into so much trouble in spots like that when I start getting a little OOL with my 3-bet range and I add ace, queen, queen 5 in there. Yeah. Especially out of position. Yeah, I think 3-betting is probably the worst option there. I think calling and folding are somewhat close there, but 3-betting's the worst option. Especially when Leon's 4-betting so wide as well too. But also, I think once again there is some merit to Sam 3-betting that hand as well and kind of getting that to showdown against Leon, because now Leon, when he plays against Sam, he's probably thinking, oh, this guy's, he's 3-betting me super wide. He had ace, queen, queen 5 before, so in the future he might be more willing to gamble it up with Sam. And if Sam's going to be playing in these games a lot or playing with Leon a lot, I think you do want to have your image be that you're pretty gambly, and then you can tighten up in certain periods. So if Leon's playing tight, then you can be playing, I guess you can play a little bit looser in spots like that and show down that you're more willing to gamble it up. And then when Leon's going crazy, he might be perceiving Sam's range to be wider than it actually is, because Sam's actually playing a little bit tighter in that moment. But Leon's thinking about how loose he saw Sam played in the past, so he might be thinking, oh, this guy's extra loose here because he showed down ace, queen, queen 5, when in reality, Sam's actually playing pretty tight in those situations. And I think that's a dynamic that only comes into play once you play with a player a lot of the time. So maybe that actually isn't the worst spot for Sam to get into there. I'm sure Leon looks at that and says, wow, what the fuck? What is, okay. That's not a very good hand. I mean, I actually don't know what Leon thinks is a bad hand at PLO, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think Leon loves all hands. I mean, it's what you don't get the nickname Loose Leon by not loving hands, that's for sure. Uh-oh, Gus with the cold 4-bet. Do not try this at home, my friends. $160,000 deep. I don't even know what my range is for cold 4-betting here. $160,000 deep. I can't say I've played too many games where you're 900 big blinds deep with multiple players in the game. Ace king six, all spades. Gus is saying he has aces or kings here, but fucking no, Gus also might have the 4, 5, 6, 7 double suited. It's kind of one of those boards where even if you have a flush, you still have a lot to fade. You have to hope your opponent doesn't have a higher flush. You have to hope the board doesn't pair. So it's those mono boards like that when they're ace king high, especially both of them are out there, are definitely pretty dangerous to be in. Even when you have the queen high flush, so you're never, and you're that deep. I mean, you're happy, but I'm pretty happy. Never mind. I'm pretty happy when I have the queen high flush in a spot like that. And then I call the flop, and then the turn comes down, he bets half pot, and then I raise and he folds, or I call and the board comes a paired on the river, and then he bets pot, and then I call and then he has the nuts, or the board comes a blank and then he checks and I bet and he folds. Uh-oh. So Gus is min-raising Leon a bunch here pre-flop. So you min-raise pre-flop, swordfish cold 4 bets. Gus calls. Sam's going to call. 10-4-4. Uh-oh. The great game card. The 4. The ultimate Pot Limit Omaha card. April 4th. 4-4. 2 4s on the board. Is this an Illuminati board? Are the creators of the world telling us something with this board? The date is 4-4. The board comes 2 4s. Leon calls. Will Leon have a 4? Swordfish pots all in. What is Leon tanking with? Is he slow rolling again with 4 4s on 4-4? He does fold. Takes it down. Nice hand. Oh, man. Connor says, how are the Pot Limit Omaha tree streaking these days? I've been playing a small to decent amount of Pot Limit Omaha on 2 sites right now. One of those sites is a site that does serve United States players, but I'm very hesitant to endorse or co-sign any sites as even options you should try right now because of all the out-of-line activity taking place. But I do think if you are a fucking degenerate and you need to play poker and you're an American, ACR should be your 100th option, okay? You should not play on America's Card Room. I think the option to try, and once again, you're going to lose your money, okay? Whether they take it from you or something, but Global Poker is probably going to be... Actually, Global Poker is 100% better option than ACR for cash games. I don't know for tournaments, but either way, you're probably going to lose all your money, like I said. And no matter what, you're probably just going to lose. I mean, if it's fucking face it, you're going to get cheated out of it. The site's going to take it. You're just not going to be good enough. So, yeah, just know that going into it. But if you have to lose your money, I'd probably lose my money on Global Poker before I'd lose my money on ACR right now. Let's put it like that. So, yeah, Joe Frizzy said, what is the rake? I hope it's high. The rake definitely could be higher on Global Poker, I have to admit. So we got a board here. I didn't see pre-flop here. But Leon is in under the gun. Gus is in the tank. What's he thinking about? He does check. Andrew L says, what about Ignition or Merge? If you play on Merge, I've never heard one good thing about Merge. I would never recommend playing on Merge. When it comes to Ignition, I mean, I don't know, man. I can't. You're going to lose your fucking money no matter what on these sites, guys. You just have to remember that. Either by not being good enough, to the rake, to the cheating, to the collusion, to the bots. You're going to probably lose your money. So, obviously, some of you guys are going to win. I agree. But, yeah. I think my options would be Global, Ignition, never AC. Like, there's no, I would just ACR, not a chance. I don't know. To be fair, I might still play an ACR a little bit to lose my money on there, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really know. How did I get here today, guys? I don't even know how I got here today. King James says, have you ever took a drink by mistake out of a piss bottle, Poppy? Yes, 100%. I mean, man, when you play literally thousands of hours with the pee bottles next to you, mistakes are going to happen. So here's my normal procedure. I would pick it up. I don't really pee in the bottle no more, but I pick it up. You always take a smell out of it first, and then you drink it. That's usually been my protocol in the past. So yeah. Andrew L says ACR feels fake. I think that's what you realize when you play cash games on America's Card Room and you play cash games on every other site out there. The games do feel pretty fake. They feel like there's something going on. There's something happening that they just not feel authentic at all. So I don't know how to explain it. It feels very weird, but when you play on that site compared to every other site, it's very strange. Do we know who this Big Fish 1-1 guy, Russian guy is? Is this the Crocodile or something? He seems like he plays pretty solid. And he does make the nut flush on the river and bets half pot. What is this guy talking about, Kyle? Calm down, Kyle. For fuck's sakes, bro. Calm down, bro. I can't take these guys in the chat sometimes. Have you tried carbon poker? I don't even know what that is, man. I hate that it's how it is online right now, where it's like, you know, do you play poker, and then there's like 8 sites to play on, and it's really hard to build a community because all the action's so spread out everywhere. Leon, gonna 4-bet here pre-flop. This is a very good spot for Leon. A very, very good spot. Very, very good spot. Especially when these guys have so much behind. Oftentimes Leon's gonna get all in to win an 80K pot against one player when he starts off with 20K. So board comes down ace 10-3. Normally I would say this is live. Yes, this is live, guys. This is a live happening right now. This is live happening right now. So Leon did 4-bet here pre-flop. He is saying that he has an ace most likely in his hand, or pocket kings, or pocket queens. And he does go all in. Unfortunately, I think he's going to get called by some weaker hands, which might be a good thing if he does have a strong hand. And he has the queen 10-10-7 pre-flop, and he gets stacked by the king 3-4-5. So Swordfish turns the second nut flush. Leon made a very loose 4-bet there pre-flop with queen 10-10-7 with the queen 7 of clubs. Flopped a set of 10s, and yeah, that sucks. Not good. Not good, my friends. Not good. What up, Pav Puppy? What's going on, my boy? All in Pav, one of the best streamers in the world, one of the top up-and-coming players in the world. Watch out for Pav. Pav will be a force on the scene in the poker world sooner than later. He is one of the only men that is able to defend the human race against the bots on ACR by beast moding it up. All in Pav is a man who will let you know how much money he is down or up every single tweet that he makes. He will always include his EV, and he will include his winnings. If he was losing money on the year, I do not think he would be including his winnings in every single tweet, but luckily he's winning money, so he has absolutely no problem showing off how much he's winning in every single tweet he does on his Twitter. It reminds me of back in the day when I used to post my graph without showing the all-in EV, because I would always run so fucking good for years and years, and then people would say, why don't you post the all-in EV? And I never did. And then when I started running bad, I'd post the all-in EV. I'm like, I'm losing. It's because of the EV. It's because of EV. You know, it's all about that. That's what Pav reminds me of. He just got to 50K profits allegedly for the year. Congratulations to Pav. Shout out Pav, man. I love Pav. I think he's moving into a stream house in New Zealand too. First of all, that's fucking sick. Second of all, I think that'll be good for all the guys moving there. I think it's Bulero as well, and our IR Egyptian, Patrick, and one other guy. So that's going to be really, really cool to follow. Looks like Gus 3-bet here pre-flop. And this is just not a spot. You do not want to find yourself in this spot very often, guys, when you're this deep out of position against good to solid players. This is just not an envious position to be in. So Gus does c-bet half pot, turns the 5 of diamonds, and yeah. He bets half pot again. I think Swordfish is going to have some floats. He might call here with some like 9 and straight draw type hands, looking to potentially take it away on the river if Gus does check. I think this is a spot where I'm going to be calling with some hands that could potentially improve to a straight here and then bluff the river when check due. But Gus does have... So Gus, yeah. So Gus 3-bet there with queen, queen, 9-9. Flop middle set, bet half pot. The turn was the flush. He bet half pot once again, and then the river was a blank, and then he checked and he checked it back. I guess I don't. Why not? I don't think you can expect to get raised on the turn there very often, so it is kind of a good merge play, I suppose. You do have the queens in your hand, so it takes away combos of straights your opponent's going to have. So therefore, your opponent probably should have more flush draws in his range when we have 2 9s and 2 queens. Oh, river paired the board? Oh, okay. Then I think you should have bet the river. I think he should have bet the river for sure. Because I think he can get hero called there by kings, by ace-jack type of hand. Gus was going for the check raise. Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense, but I just think that... I don't know. I don't think if he check raises there, Swordfish is always going to bet call with his flushes there. I think he's going to... I mean, this is kind of one of those classic debates you get into in PLO where should you check raise, should you bet? And obviously you want to sort of think about being balanced in spots like that. And I don't think Gus is going to be balanced in a spot like that. I think he's going to be bluffing that river a little bit too much, so he probably wants to be betting with the queen, queen, 9-9 there. And him checking that hand, it does show that he's capable of playing tricky, which is always something good that you want your opponent to have to worry about. Because if you're not capable of checking any strong hands in a river spot like that, then when you do check, your opponent can oftentimes over bluff against you, and you won't be able to do much about it. I think having the queens in your hand means you probably should just... I think I would just bet that hand on the river then. I'm still thinking in my mind. I'm still thinking. Leon takes down a small pot. Gus and Leon are 2 men that do not like to fold. That is for sure. Why is everyone so deep, Ben asks. Ben, you should know the answer to that question, my friend. Anyone that's a professional poker player should know why this game is so deep. Ugh. Man. Anyone who plays professional poker should know why this game is so deep. If you do not know why this game is so deep, if you can't watch this game and understand why it's so deep, you need to get into the lab and figure out why. I think that's right. Or I could just fucking tell you. All right, I'm going to tell you why one time. All right, the reason this game is so deep is because you have some action players in the game. So when there's action players in the game pushing the action, oftentimes there's going to be people that are they're all in often. So therefore, we're going to build up stacks. And when you have one or two players who are willing to reload in moments like that, and when you have a regular in the game who's getting stuck a bunch and continuously reloads, well, then that game is going to get deeper and deeper. And as those players continue to play in a very good game, the stacks are going to continue to build and build. So in a spot like this, where you have Leon, you have Gus willing to gamble it up, and one of these regulars gets stuck, they're going to keep reloading. And I think in the beginning, these regulars are going to get stacked a decent percentage of the time, especially when other players are playing so wild. So therefore, people are going to keep reloading and reloading. And therefore, you end up in a game like this. Now, when players start leaving the game and then new players start coming, well, that changes the dynamic. But when these guys are playing and staying the entire time, that's when you get a special game like this. Simple. Simple enough. Dennis says, why do people say fun player instead of fish? I don't know. I call it fun players. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Gus is attacking the 7-4-3 board here. I like that play by Gus. I do think he's going to be over bluffing here, for better or worse. But the turn is the 9 of spades. I think Sam is going to have more flush draws than Gus will. And I think Sam's going to have some weak hands that he's going to turn into a bluff here as well. So he does bet 8,000 into 12,000. Yeah, I think Sam's going to be bluffing there more than he has a hand for value. Because I think if he does have a queen or jack high flush type hand there, he's just going to check. If he has a king or ace high flush, he's probably going to check too and hope that Gus bets. So I do think that Sam's going to be weighted there a little bit more towards bluffs. But I think when your opponent is over bluffing that flop, it allows you to call there a little bit looser and then make a play like that on the turn. It's kind of one of the interesting things that happen when you get deep stack and you play against a regular or guys who are action and they're raising very wide. It allows you to mix up your play a little bit without having premium hands. And I think that's where a lot of players end up making a lot of mistakes, is because they don't often get in spots like that where they might be bet calling there with a weak hand with the attention of hero calling down on some turns and rivers, but also potentially leading the turn and then betting the river with a hand as a bluff. I think a lot of players pick the wrong hands in the wrong spots to make plays there with and end up losing a bunch of money. I mean, that's what makes the better players better, is because they know how to navigate spots like that and boards like that against all different player types. And that's why normally I think you'd advocate playing pretty tight in boards like that. And then, of course, you're going to get run over by an aggressive player like Gus, who might be over bluffing you in some spots, but it will allow for you to, in theory, make less mistakes. So Swordfish does take down another big pot, 55K. Blake Morrow says, is over bluffing a key concept in PLO? I think it's a concept that a lot of players don't do enough of, because against weaker players, especially against weaker regulars, you can over bluff them a lot, because kind of goes back to what I just said. They're going to be playing pretty tight to very tight in a lot of big turn and river spots. So if they're only calling you with the nuttiest part of their range, and they're going to let you know that they have the nuttiest part of their range on the flop and on the turn very often, and their likelihood for making hero calls is very low, then that's going to allow you to overbluff them and just take advantage of them very often. So some players right there, it might bet fold the kings with the king high flush draw, because they just don't want to have to call a big bet on the turn. And then when they make a king high flush, they don't want to end up having to call two big bets against you, because their mindset is, I have the king high flush. Well, he probably has the ace high flush here sometimes. And if he has a straight, well, I'm not going to get any value from my hand when I have the king high flush. So my implied odds aren't there. So therefore, it's going to be better for me to just bet and fold here when aggression's shown against me. So therefore, against players like that, you can overbluff them. And now a lot of those players aren't necessarily battling at mid-stakes Pot Limit Omaha right now online, because those players have kind of fixed those leaks, because those were leaks that you could take advantage of a lot more in the past. But you're still going to see a lot of players at small stakes do that too. And unfortunately, you're going to be over bluffing, so you're going to end up in a lot of spots where you probably make some bad bluffs, but it's the best way that you learn by getting into those spots. So you make a bluff, and maybe you make it a bunch of times, it doesn't work. You're like, maybe I shouldn't bluff that spot against this player. And then you kind of look for different spots to potentially be over bluffing in against certain player types. Too much strat there. Oh, limp pot here. Ay. What is some guy saying in the chat here? Dodgers fan. We are on YouTube. My girlfriend and I are live streaming. We need some ideas of what to do, Dodgers fan says. Well, listen, Dodgers fan, if I click on you and I don't see you two getting after it with each other, I got to give you a permanent block. I just have to. Dodgers fan, why is I gotta ban this dumb fuck from. Or no, I'm gonna keep him here. I kind of like him. Yeah, you learn through pain. That's always been my approach to life in poker, and for better or worse, I learned through pain. I beat myself over the head with the baseball bat over and over until I finally get it. Matt Marco Puppy. What up, Matt? What's happening, brother? What's going on, bro? Gus takes down the small pot there. All right, Dodgers fan, calm down, brother. Calm down. We got some guy choosing to spam his girlfriend's chat in this chat. I'm not sure why. There's probably going to be more optimal places to go spam your girlfriend's stream, my friend, Dodgers fan. I got to put this on my Instagram story. I forgot. All right, Instagram. We're live on Twitch right now. We're watching Gus Hansen play 100-200 Pot Limit Omaha. He's unretired from high stakes after 1 day of retirement. And he's got $200,000 chip stack. Very deep stacks. Very deep stacks. Fucking Instagram. Who doesn't like Instagram, guys? I think I like it. Uh-oh. Another 3-bet spot here pre-flop. So Ghana has the short stack. This is the benefit of having the short stack here, is your players are going to be playing completely fucking ridiculous ranges, and you're going to be able to 4-bet here pre-flop, because we know Gus is raising a lot pre-flop, but we know Sam's calling a lot of hands in position. They're this deep. We know Swordfish is going to be overcalling hands in the small blind a little bit too often. I do think Swordfish is going to have some stronger hands of slow plays here, but I don't think that he is going to come back over the top and then 5-bet with those hands pre-flop. So if Swordfish does have a hand like decent kings or bad aces, he might be inclined to want to 5-bet pre-flop, but I don't think he's going to want to have to face a huge pot like that opposition 4-way. So therefore, what does that tell us? What did we learn from that, what I just said? I think we learned that Ghana should be 3-betting a lot pre-flop here. How much is a lot? Great question. Should Swordfish ever back 5-bet? Probably. Will he? I don't think so. I think he would just 4-bet or 3-bet rather most of those hands pre-flop. But would he back 5-bet ace, 7-3 with 7-3 of diamonds? Something we think about for another day. Something we think about for another day. Nick Lacrosse says, who is Big Fish and who is Swordfish? Or who is Big Fish and Swordfish? Big Fish is from Russia. We don't know. Swordfish is a German man. Allegedly manic. something. Manic L. I don't know how to pronounce his last name off the top of my head. Manic Losner. Leon definitely bluffing this river here. Leon does not have a straight here. Hero call on big fish. Leon's never had a straight here in his entire life. He always has. He's always bluffing here. Pick him off, Leon. Or, I'm sorry, big fish. Now he folds. All right. Leon doesn't have a straight there. That's a goddamn lie. Manic Loser? Losner? Manic Loser? Loazer? I don't really know. I'm just reading my Twitter right now. I'm trying to see what some people said. Wolfkind says, loved your pod with Gus. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I did a podcast with Gus Hansen yesterday, my friends. Or I did it last week, but I uploaded it yesterday. I should probably tell you guys why I didn't upload it on Monday. If you guys want to know, I'll tell you why I didn't get uploaded on Monday. Let's just say I've been living my life a little out of line, guys. And I was not on top of things. And I fucked up. Joey signed with... What is this fucking retard talking about, man? I can't take this fucking... Come on, man. Stop being dumb, dude. These fucking people... The PC people are gonna get all mad. Do they get mad about stuff like that? I can't fucking deal with these people sometimes, man. Leaving these fucking comments. I'm not reading no more comments, guys. I'm sorry. I can't handle it no more. Be bringing my life down. I can't handle it no more. Can't handle it no more. So Gus min 3 bets here. I don't know what exactly is happening. Ghana 4 bets here. And Gus goes all in. He's got aces. Ghana flops top set with kings and wins the pot. So Ghana limp raised pocket kings there. King, king, 10, 8. And ends up stacking ace, ace, 4, 6 there. So he doubles up to 24K. Man. Let's see if Gus gets a little out of line here pre-flop. He cold calls a 3-bet. Sam cold calls. Ghana cold calls. Or actually, he raised pre-flop, so he just calls. Big Fish is going to call. Big Fish is going to 4-bet. My guy in the chat, we already said who this guy was like 10 times. So 5 way to the flop here. 15K in the middle. Ghana pots it. I think Ghana's going to have... He's going to have a bunch of hands here. 2 pairs. Combo draws. I think he's going to have ace, 10, queen, jack, and he takes it down. Nice hand. Maja Doja says, Joe, why does Leon not have a deep stacked? Because he usually does. Because he's been losing, my friend. You need to win to get a deep stacked. Need to win to have a deep stack. ODO says, Joey, how do you deal with lack of structure as a poker pro in your life? I ain't dealing with it well now, bro. I am not dealing with it well. My life's been very out of line lately. Let's put it like that. Very out of line, my friends. Very out of line. I'm being honest with you guys, man. I'm not gonna lie about it. It's been out of line. Fuck, man. Really has. I need to put a camera in my house 24 hours a day, so that way I just can't. I have to tell people what I do. People just have to see what I do. That way I'll be a little bit more in line. I think that would be a good idea. A bit of lull in the action right now. Leon is not winning anything right now, unfortunately. I think it's probably going to be better for the game if Leon starts winning more money back and then other people start losing money. And then Leon gets really deep, and then other players are more inclined to gamble it up, and then yeah. Paul Borgen in the chat says, you should just come to the East Coast and play some boring live poker at Foxwoods. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like the worst idea. I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. Probably be good for my life. Seth says, do you get sick of repeating yourself? GTO out of line bots. Well, technically, I say a lot of other things, Seth. So you sound like you're only hearing certain things and you don't hear a lot of other things. So, but I can understand that. Maybe it's more of a thing about what you're paying attention to than what everyone else is paying attention to. So you pay attention to those things more than anything else. But do I get sick of it? No, I don't get fucking sick of it. If I got sick of it, I wouldn't fucking do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Seth. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I wish, trust me, I wish I enjoyed talking about other things more. I guess I do enjoy talking about other things more. Seth, you bring up a great point. Let me think about this more, Seth. Make a fair point, Seth. You make a fair point. I suppose I could lie more. I could be... Yeah. You make a good point, Seth. Maybe I can follow the lead of my other fellow content creators and just talk about what I know people want to hear, which is gratefulness and humbleness and appreciative and gratitude and meditation and yoga and healthy diet and working out every day and living a great balanced inline life with consistent work ethic and always striving your best and always try to be better each day. Surround yourself with positive people. Wake up in the morning, make your bed, eat your meals, drink your... Well, you're right. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna talk about that more often now, Seth. You're right. You know what? I'm gonna do that. You're right. It's a good point. I'm gonna do that. Wow. So Swordfish flopped the nut straight, turned the second high flush, and then checked it back. So you might have seen Swordfish checked the river there with the set. So that is something that happens sometimes from earlier. So earlier we showed that Gus was capable of checking a very strong hand on the river. So then it might make your opponents less inclined to value bet you thinner. So we saw Swordfish just check back the third nut flush there. Maybe he thought he couldn't get any value from Gus, or he didn't want to risk getting potentially check raised off his hand. So that's sometimes what happens, is that you run into a situation like that where your opponent might be over adjusting not for the better. But yeah, I think that is the kind of thing that happens when you show your opponent you're capable of potentially making a move. So when they're sort of waiting your range and they're like, all right, well, is my opponent going to call me here more than he is going to... I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's always a value bet there, but I can understand why he might check that back. I can understand why he would check that back. I think what might happen is if you see your opponent checks back the queen high flush there, then you might think he is value betting you thinner, or sorry, he's value betting you less overall when that's actually probably not true. So now in a spot like that, where if you're Gus, you might see your opponent didn't value bet the queen eye flush, then in the future, you might think that your opponent is not value betting enough when in reality, he actually is value betting enough. But you took one situation and you applied it to all different situations across the board, and then you're over adjusting in Gus's spot. So there is some benefit that could come from getting that type of hand shown down in Swordfish's spot. So Leon 5 bets here pre-flop. Queen 10-9 flop. He's all in against Gus. Oh, they both call. Turns the king. Uh-oh. Straights are there. $50,000 in the middle here. Both check. Turn rivers the 8. 8, 9, 10, king, queen. Check. And Gus is going to check. And Leon. Oh, Leon. Bang, bang. Leon shows down the queen, jack, 10 deuce. Swordfish had, what the fuck did he have? 6. What did he have there? I usually know all these hands. I don't know how to go back and see. He had 6, 7, 7, 8. I don't know. Very questionable overcall on the flop there by Swordfish. I mean, I guess it was only $600-700, but I don't know. Don't know. So Swordfish raised pre-flop here, and he's very much a proponent of the half pot bet sizing we've noticed in spots. So he half pot bets here, and obviously gets called by 3 players. Turn is the 4 of clubs. Going to be a good card for Swordfish. He bets pot on the turn. Mr. Marks says, who are these players? Kings of Leon, a.k.a. Loose Leon. Sam Trickett, a.k.a. Sam Trickett. Gus Hansen, a.k.a. Gus Hansen. Swordfish, AAA, a.k.a. Swordfish, AAA. 2 calls on the turn. Oh, boy. Here we go. Wow, what a blank river. The deuce of hearts. What do you do now? What do you do now if you have aces? Bet. What happens if you get raised? Want to jump out of the computer area for sure. Can somebody here have 3-5? Swordfish is in the tank. How much should he bet? He's thinking about what bet sizing you should do for value here. Does he ever potentially turn a hand like 1 pair into a bluff, like an ace, king, 10, jack with 1 club? He chooses to check. What do you do if you have a set of 9s here and a set of 7s? In Sam or Big Fish's spot, you make a bet, probably. Will Leon bluff here? A lot of things going on here. 74K in the pot. I don't see Leon getting a bluff through here, but he's crazy enough to do it. He goes all in. 30K into 74. Snap fold. I think Swordfish is going to call. I think he's going to check call her with 1 pair. He folds. Oh my God. No. No way. No way. No way. Is he going to hero call with like a 9 or something crazy like that? No way. Leon either has a straight or he has nothing. He folds. Oh my God. Sick. Oh my God. I was sick. Wow. What the hell did Swordfish have where he potted the turn but couldn't check call the river there? I don't know. Sick hand. My buddy Bruno in the chat. What's up, Papito? What's going on, man? Thanks for streaming this match. Papito, much love, my friend. Much love. Leon got a stack now. Let's get it, Leon. Let's go, Leon. Show these guys who's boss. Loose Leon. Let's just give these other guys names since we don't know who they are. Let's call Ghana D. Let's call him Birdman. So Ghana D is going to be Birdman. Big Fish 111 is going to be, we're going to call him... We're going to call him the Russian Salmon. So Russian Salmon. Yeah, we're going to call him Russian Salmon. No, it needs to be shorter than that. Loose Leon. I already forgot what I'm trying to do here. Never mind, guys. Let's scratch that idea. Swordfish AA. in a pot with Sam. I've been liking what I'm seeing from Swordfish AA. I feel like he's been mixing it up. He's shown the propensity to be willing to gamble. I like his sizing strategy post-flop as well. He seems like he has a very solver. I mean, it's more like a no limit. So let me make sure I'm thinking about this right. He has a very introductory solver-based style at PLO, it seems like. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of times when people start trying to play a little bit more solver-based, they go with half pot and they go with pot. They kind of stick with a couple different sizes. They don't really deviate from those two sizes very often. And then once you get to understand situations better and understand what you should do in more spots better, then you start deviating from that overall game plan. So it seems like he is, I mean, very small sample size though, so, but he's a big he's a big proponent of the half pot and the pot size. Whereas if you look at what other players are doing, they are using a lot different strategy post flop. And he's been doing that whether it's multi-way or even whether it's heads up or it's when he's checked to, and could see a flop here, let's see. Or could see so once again, he goes to that half pot size. So Leon 3-bet here pre-flop. What's he going to do? He folds. You know what's interesting about the half pot strategy is that when you're trying it at lower stakes, at the small stakes or micro stakes, people are going to call you a lot more than they're going to call you at mid stakes and high stakes. So it's kind of difficult for players who want to start incorporating that strategy into their game to do it at like the 50-cent dollar tables, because on certain sites you're going 3-4. I mean, it's kind of like this, but these CRs are not folding. So, normally it's probably going to be best to just not bet or bet bigger in some spots or even bet less in some spots. So it's very challenging to be able to learn that strategy and know that you're learning it well when the gameplay and the dynamics and the way that better regulars are going to play against the sizing is so much different than the way bad regulars or fun players are going to play against that strategy. So it becomes very challenging to be able to learn that way playing Pot Omaha. Unless you're playing an ACR where you're playing with all bots, and the bots are playing that strategy sort of too, so then you can assume that all your opponents are also bots and playing that kind of strategy. So a lot of checks coming here. Will Leon, he checks back, okay. Small pot goes Sam's way here. The action is fast and the action is furious here. The action is fast, the action is furious. What was our nickname for Gaina D? The Swedish Knit? Should we call him the Swedish Knit? I kind of like the Swedish Knit. I'm sure I know who this is too, but I'm going to call him the Swedish Knit. Gus here going with that half pot. I got to imagine Gus is just clicking a button when he bets half pot in a lot of these spots. If you're going to click a button, what size do you think is the most optimal to click? Is it half pot? Is it 3/4 pot? Is it 2/3 pot? Is it pot? If you're going to click a button at Pot Omaha, no matter what, like from a GTO, what is the best button size to click? I think it's either, I don't know. We got, oh boy, oh fucking Christ here. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on, my friends. Gus Hansen is saying, I'm ready to play a big pot. He 5-bets here pre-flop. 18,700. What do you do with Sam's pot here? Leon is not folding. We know that. Sam's maybe thinking about 6-betting here pre-flop. Do you 6-bet here with a hand like kings? He folds. Oh, my God. Leon calls. King, jack, 6, 2 spades pot. Flop. What's Leon going to do? Will we see a $200,000 pot here between Loose Leon and Gus Hansen, the Great Dane? Leon pots it. I don't know who I'm rooting for to win. I'm rooting for Payne. Get him, Gus. He's all in. Oh, no. Oh, my God. It's going to be a big pot. Leon's tanking. Call, Leon. Stop trying to trick the time. He calls. He's got one pair. Gus has the nut flush. Gus takes it down. Leon, king, queen, 5-8. Pots the flop with the top pair and the backdoor flush draw and the backdoor straight draw and the other backdoor straight draw. Gus has the ace 10-5. He's got the gut shot straight draw and he has a nut flush draw. Leon gets stacked for a $200,000 pot. Gus is back up to $277K. Leon's had enough. Leon quits the game after that big pot. Makes a very questionable play pre-flop, then compounds that by making a questionable play on the flop. Gets it in, runs it once, drawing dead on the turn for a $200,000 pot. Gus Hansen is running it back up, $277K. Do you really make a royal flush there? I just saw the flush. He made a royal flush. Oh my God. Dare I say, G, T, O. I saw the 4 spades on the board. I looked at Loose Leon's hand. I said, well, that's 0% right there. And then he makes the straight royal flush on the board. Get him, Gus. Podcast Run Good is indeed real, my friend. So let's see what happens with the game now. Will the game continue? Get him, Gus. Royal Gus Hansen. The Mr. Royalty himself. The great... I don't know. We're just getting out of line here with some of these names. Get him, Gus. So now, I don't know if this game's going to continue, my friend. I don't know if it's going to continue. Because we've seen... I mean, we haven't seen anything from Big Fish and from the Swedish Net to think that they're willing to mix it up. But obviously, when Leon leaves the game, now the dynamic changes overall. Players are going to tighten up naturally. And it's sort of this transitional period in a game where it sort of adjusts back to normal in a lot of ways. But most times you're going to see players just tighten up a lot overall, not get themselves into too many spots post-flop. Except if you're named Gus Hansen and you're trying to win $1 million in this game. Then you're going to cold call the small blind here. Get him, Gus. Someone said I speak like a YouTuber. If I speak like anyone, they speak like me. I don't know how other people speak. I just speak like myself. I don't think I can actually replan here, unfortunately, guys. That's why I'm trying to see things in my mind as fast as they come. Like bam, bam, bam. I'm trying to see them. So now Leon might come back. He's shown a propensity. Goes outside, gets a smoke. Maybe he goes and walks around his casino. He goes and looks and see how much money he made that day at the casino. And he says, okay, I'm ready to buy back in. So Swordfish goes with the half pot here, bet size. After Big Fish 3-bet here, turns the queen of spades, queen jack 7-3. Very deep stacks here. Get him, Gus. So gets checked to Big Fish here. So when 3-bet pre-flop from Big Fish, Swordfish led the flop with the half pot. River, the 5-6 gets there. Also the backdoor flush draw does get there. What's Gus going to do if Gus has a... Gus bets pot. I think Gus is going to lose this hand, my friends. Swordfish has a king high flush. I think he has a king high flush. But would he lead that on the flop? Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have the king high flush. Maybe he's got the 10, the 9 or 10. Maybe he had a combo draw on the flop. King high flush. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think Gus had a hand. I think Gus is way too unbalanced in that spot, guys. I got to be honest with you. So Gus had king, king, 3, 5 there with 3 hearts. So he blocked the 5-6, and then he had kings. I just think Gus is way too unbalanced there on that river. Way too unbalanced. And yeah, Swordfish had king high flush. So he had on the flop, he had a gut shot. A gut shot and the king high flush. It's a very interesting hand to lead with on the flop. Get him, Gus. Gus, that was not a good play, my friend. But it's okay. We learned. We learned from our mistakes. You remember when Gus talked about game selection? This is probably a game where he might consider. He might consider maybe want to tap. Should we text Gus and tell him to quit the game? Tell you what, guys. If you guys tell me I should text Gus and tell him this lineup just got bad, lock up the win, I'll do it. I'll do it, guys. But you guys got to let me know. Give me a 1 in the chat if I should do it. Give me a 2 if I shouldn't do it. You guys let me know. I'll take advice from you here. Get him, Gus. The royal flush Gus. Royal flush Gus. Royal Hansen. Royal flush Hansen. Should I be Gus's Gamblers Anonymous right now and text him? He told me he's trying to get better at this. He told me. This is what he said. You guys heard the podcast. He said, all right, we need like one of those quiz sites. What's that auto quiz site that we go in there and you do like an instant quiz in the chat? I don't know. I don't really know. Get him, Gus. I don't know. I can't remember which one 1 and 2 was, guys. 1 was text him. 2 was not text him. I felt like I would see an overwhelming amount of not text him, but yeah, we need to do listen, guys, whatever the straw poll says, I'm going to do it. Straw poll. Whatever the straw poll says, I am going to do it. So should I text Gus and tell him the game's bad? Should I text Gus and tell him the game is bad? Yes? No? All right, we're creating this, guys. Hold on. All right, here it is. Please cast your vote in the link right now in the chat. Can you click it? Okay, yeah. Click the link, please, and button. Should I text Gus and tell him the game's bad? He just told me he wanted to do that. Oh, I should have put it on Instagram. Damn it, you're so right, Buddha Bear. Can I hire you for the marketing team, please? I need to hire you for my... That'd have been a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I appreciate that great idea. I appreciate that great idea. Gus can't win $1 million if he quits, unfortunately, right now, guys. So maybe we need to let Gus play, because we want to see him try to win $1 million. Right now on the table, there is 500, 600, 700,000, 800,000. It's about 850K on the table here. The link's broke? What the fuck are you talking about? I see the link. How is the link broke? Is that true? The link works for me. How does it not work for anybody else? Oh, well, I'll try it again. Do it again. Sorry, guys. My apologies. I like David. Let your nuts hang. Shout out 6ix9ine. The link doesn't work. How does the link not work? Are you guys... What is people fucking with me right now? The link works when I click on it. I don't understand what's happening here. All right, I'm going on my Instagram story then. I don't know why the link's not working. All right, I'm going on my Instagram. You guys let me know on my Instagram. Should we tell Gus to quit? All right, guys, we're doing a poll right now. Should we text Gus Hansen and tell him this game is bad so he can quit the game, or should we let him keep playing and not tell? Because he just talked about this on my podcast. So people from the chat, let me know yes or no, please. Thank you. I think it's going to be unbiased towards the people on my Instagram are nice people. They're going to want me to tell them. But you can go on my Instagram. It's Poppy GTO, PAPI GTO. And you let me know if I should. And whatever you guys tell me, I'm going to do. Should we suggest to Gus that this game is now bad and he should quit? All right, whatever the poll says. He's probably not going to quit anyway, guys. You got to remember that. He has heart. We might quit, but he wouldn't quit. That's the difference between us. It's the difference between us and Gus is that we would quit, Gus wouldn't. Gus with the min raise 3-bet here, pre-flop. I don't know if Gus is like, if something's broke or not. I don't really know what he's doing here. We don't want, no, I think we got to tell him, guys, we just suggest it. Let's just suggest it. Gus calls. Oh no, my heart's not gonna be able to live with it. My heart. Get him, Gus. Swordfish is in the tank here. What's he thinking about? He folds. Turns a 6. Could be an action card. If anyone has 8-10. Big fish is in the tank. He bets 5,000 into 7,800. Gus calls. River's the 7. Board pairs. Obviously, flush does miss here. So I think if big fish, I expect him to check. I expect Gus to bet the river. I expect him to bet half pot if he has a full house, full pot if he has a straw. And wow, big fish was going for the check raise there. So big fish had the straight and top 2 pair. He rivered a full house, went for the check there. And Gus did not bite. They tried to set you up, Gus. You avoided it. Nice play, Gus. Didn't fall for it. Alexander says, rank table from first to last. All right, Alexander, let's do this. Let's rank this table from first to last. I mean, we've only seen a small sample size of play here. I'm going to rank number 1 from what I've seen so far today. Swordfish AA. I'm going to put him first. Number 2, from what I've seen so far today, the action so far, I am going to put down Gus Hansen, number 2. Number 3, who I think's been playing the best so far today, I'm going to put down Sam Trickett, number 4. I'm going to put down Big Fish 1-1. And number 5, I'm going to put down the Swedish Knit, Gain a D. So Gus min 3 bets here, Big Fish 4 bets. Gus calls. I don't know. Gus is using a very interesting strategy here with the min 3 bet pre. Certainly not common, but different. I don't hate it. So Big Fish C bets here, 1,800. Gus calls fast, turns the ace. Ace King 4-4, $136,000 behind. I don't think it's going to get all in here. What is the fish going to do? I expect to bet again. He bets 3,600 into 9,600. Gus. Get him, Gus. He folds. Damn it. Yeah, I think Manning did call. You're right. Swordfish AA did call with that 6-7-7-8. You're right. I get his logic against Loose Leon, against that. If the board, he's not looking to put a lot of money. If the jack would have came, remember the board was 9-10 queen. He had 6-7-7-8. The pot was 24,000. Loose Leon bet 8,400. Gus called 8,400, and then Swordfish overcalled 8,400. So if he does make potentially that second nut third, even if he makes a third nut straight or whatever, yeah, it's not a good scenario. You're right, but I can understand him calling there, and with the game plan of if he makes a straight, he's going to play it very cautiously. I think if Gus does have a straight there, he's probably going to put more money in there on the flop unless he has a second nut straight. Then he probably would just call. And then if Swordfish makes a straight on the turn and he checks and Gus bets big, I think he can fold his hand. So if he goes in there with that game plan, I think it's fine, especially with the price he's getting laid there. Obviously, he's got the backdoor quad draw as well, too. You guys know backdoor quad draw, very powerful draw where your opponents don't often see it coming. He also has implied odds with his backdoor quad draw. So you saw that board queen 10-9. Him and Gus are very deep. Let's say Gus has a set of queens and Swordfish has a 6-7-7-8. He calls. Turn comes to 7, so he makes that gut shot straight draw. So he's going to have the third best straight, aka Mexican straight. He's going to have the Mexican straight. He's also going to have that set. So let's say Gus has top set there. Board comes to 7 on the river. Most likely, he's going to be able to stack Gus completely and also have the backup of that third straight, knowing that it's very likely that third straight's going to be better than Gus's top set. So I don't mind the play at all there with just the price on the flop and potentially the implied odds of the backdoor quad draw against a higher set. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I see where it's coming from. I do. I see Gus. 4 bets here pre-flop. Ace, queen, deuce flop. 2 hearts. Get him, Gus. Gus is in the tank. By the way, guys, this is an invite-only game. So if you are not invited, you can't play. Gus, half pot bet size. I like it, Gus. Takes it down. Nice hand. Running it back up. Jordan, 36er. What's up, puppy? Long time no live stream. Yes, sir. It's good to be back watching the great game of Potluck Omaha, watching Gus Hansen mix it up here, trying to do battle against these guys. The Swedish Nit Ganadi, the Russian Warrior Big Fish 1-1, Swordfish AA, aka the Jumpy German. I don't know. Alan Talley says, yo, Pup B, what do you think about Gus's seat? Worst seat in the game? Yeah, I do think that Gus has... I mean, he had the best seat when Luce Leon was in the mix. Now, does he have the worst seat? I mean, I don't know. I think with the stack sizes right now, and it does seem like the Russian Warrior and Swedish Nit are playing tighter than the other two guys, so you could say he might have... But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily is the worst thing or not. I think if we made the game, if we just said, where do you want to put these people at the table for Gus to have the most plus EV seat right now, I would say putting Gaina D to his left and then either having Sam, probably Swordfish to his direct right. It's probably going to be better. Obviously, they just have the biggest stack, so. Somebody said Sam has the worst seat. Yeah, that definitely is not true. I mean, a lot of times when you look at who has the worst seat or best seat, you want to look at what are the win rates of the players in the game. And, of course, the higher the rake, the less the win rates players are going to be. So we could try to decide who do we think is the person with the worst win rate in this game in the long run. And obviously different stack sizes are going to change the possible win rates, because if we're only playing 100 big blinds deep, maybe certain players are going to be better, and it's very hard to estimate for who has what win rate the deeper the stacks get. And I mean, it's very hard to estimate your win rate randomly like this overall, and you're just thinking about in a lineup like this, you can have your overall win rate and say, okay, well, I'm a 10 BB per 100 winner, so therefore I'm a 10 BB per 100 winner in all games, when that's actually not true. Because if you have 2 players to your right who are negative 60 big blind per 100 losers, well, then theoretically your win rate's going to be pretty high in that game. Whereas if you have those 2 guys to your left and then you're playing in a 9-headed table, you're probably going to have one of the worst positive win rates overall in that game. Whereas if you're at the direct left of those 2 players, you're most likely going to have one of the bigger win rates in that game. So, I mean, it's like a very simple thing, but it kind of does go to show you just how much seat selection matters. And then when you think about why do players obsess about game selection so much, well, it makes sense, right? Because if you're in this seat in this game and you have this win rate, and then when you go to this game in this seat and you have a much worse win rate and your variance is a lot higher in that lineup, you can understand why certain players say, fuck that, I'm staying away from those games. They just avoid those kind of spots completely. Whereas other players look at that as a challenge and they say, all right, I know I might not be winning in this game, but this is how I think that I can get better in that game, is I can battle in these lineups and I can try to improve my win rate in these games. So Big Fish 4 bets here pre-flop. I think he 4-bet here pre-flop. After Gus did his patented min raise here, King 10-6 rainbow board. Like I said, Gus is using a new strategy with the min raise pre-flop. It gets checked through. Turn is the 2 of diamonds. Let's see what happens here. those possible backdoor flush draws in the mix. River comes to 5 of diamonds. The backdoor flush gets in there one time. Is anybody going to take a stab at this one? What will Gus do? 2 pair. Is 2 pair going to win this hand, guys? Nope. Swordfish has the jack high flush. Takes it down. Nice hand. Yeah, guys, Leon was in the mix. Unfortunately, Leon lost a $200,000 pot to Gus Hansen. Gus made the royal flush on the river against Gus. And yeah. So Gus min raises here pre-flop after Russian Warrior limps in under the gun. It's a sick name, Russian Warrior. I like that a lot. Matt says, can you speak on what you might think Gus' thought processes may or may not be with these weird min 3-bets? Let's just try to figure this out. Why would Gus be min raising pre-flop here? I don't know. I mean, maybe he thinks that he gains the initiative pre-flop by doing that. Therefore, his opponents are often going to check to him, and he's going to be able to have control of the hand more often post-flop. Maybe he wants to potentially... He thinks that by min raising pre-flop, he is going to be able to get a good price on calling 4-bets, and then also he'll be able to push other players out of the pot, therefore making it more likely he goes heads up. So we're going to see an all-in here from Gain of D. Big Fish limp called here. I think Big Fish is going to show down 2 pair with Ace-Jack or Ace-8. So he's all in. Big Fish has, set of jacks. Wow. Wow, sick. So Big Fish got a little tricky there. So Big Fish limp called Queen Jack Jack 5 on pre-flop. The flop, it went check through. He was probably hoping Gus would make a bet on the flop. And then Ghana D showed down 3-3-4-6. So Ghana D called that pre-flop and then made bottom set, aka the fucking idiot set. They got it all in on the turn, and he was drawing pretty slim. So he's busted, and now the game is 4-handed. And the Swedish Nit has had enough. Actually, I don't know why that guy would leave this game unless he's massively tilted. I think having a 20K stack in this game is going to be very, very GTO. But obviously 20K, a lot of money. High variance. So Gus 3-bets next hand pre-flop. See what Big Fish is going to do here. Oh boy. Big Fish 4-bets. I like this Russian guy style, man. I like this guy mixes it up. I kind of like this guy, man. I don't know who I'm going to find out who he is, but I don't think it's Stickman. I don't know why they'd invite Stickman to this game, but I like this guy's style. So Big Fish 4-bets pre-flop here. Ace 8-6 board rainbow. Going to be better for... I mean, Big Fish is 4-betting a lot, but I think this is going to be it's always a better flop for the 4-betters range. And he takes it down. Nice hand. All right, let's see what the Instagram results said, my friends. Well, we're going to go check them right now and see. Get him, Gus. All right, the result. Oh, it's not even uploading yet. Come on, upload, man. What's happening here? Hold on, it hasn't uploaded yet. I don't know what's happening. I'm scared to look down. Anytime I look down, Gus could just end up in like $1 million pot. Too Fat Matt says, I enjoyed the Gus interview. Thank you, Too Fat Matt. I enjoyed the Gus conversation as well. A very surreal moment in a lot of ways, finally getting Gus Hansen on the podcast. He's been one of the most requested guests ever on the pod. So Swordfish bets a little less than half pot there. A little bit less than full pot on the river there with the backdoor full house. Yeah, it was a very surreal moment to have Gus on the podcast, just because he's always been suggested, and I've never met him before. So the idea of being able to get Gus on the podcast I didn't feel like I'd ever really meet him somewhere. So this is crazy. This actually isn't uploading to my Instagram. It's fucking crazy. It won't upload. I guess the gods do not want me to let him know to quit. If you guys know Gus, he's not quitting, my friends. Gus isn't quitting this game. Gus is not going to quit this game, my friends. I've got a feeling he won't quit.
It's on the podcast.
We got watching.
Really,
1,000 people watching the great game of Pop Omaha out there. It's awesome, man. Listen, guys, my coach tells me I need to tell people if you enjoy the stream or videos to hit a like because it allegedly helps in some sort of thing. So if you do enjoy the video and you do want to see Gus Hansen win $1 million, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on here. That's it. That's all I got. So let's see how the dynamic of this game changes four-handed. I mean, in theory, when the game gets shorter, the play opens up a little bit, but the play's been pretty open here for most of the action. I don't see Gus folding a lot of times in this exact spot where Big Fish opens under the gun. I think that in theory is that in theory should mean that Big Fish is going to be folding more here. Yeah, I mean, he should be in theory. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you want to play hands with Gus. Maybe you want Gus to min raise you here and you get to just play a pot with him. I don't know. Interesting thought there, though. Swordfish does 3-bet here. Yeah, I mean, Big Fish should be playing tighter here overall. When you have a player who's just min raising you all the time in position. But maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't be. So Swordfish bets the pot here on Queen 9-5. Big Fish calls. They are very deep, my friends. They are very deep. What is Gus going to do? Get him, Gus. Get him, Gus. He calls. My God, what the fuck? Okay. Queen turn. Queen, 9-5. I think this is going to be a better card for one of the callers' range. I think that Swordfish is probably going to have a nut flush draw. He bets pot. Okay. Jesus. He bets pot. What is Gus? Don't do it, Gus. Okay, Gus folds. Swordfish takes it down. Oh, boy. We doubled the likes in 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm happy so many people want to see Gus get to $1 million at this table. Poppy, tell him to smash the like button, hit the bell, and don't forget to subscribe. Dude, I've never said that. I don't know, Vic. Make sure you turn on notifications. I've never said that before. Except now, I guess I did just say it. Never mind. I take it back. I just said it. What do likes do exactly, Jamie says? I think what likes do, I don't know if they give it some sort of boost in the algorithms or not. I think it does. I think any engagement like that is going to help it in the algorithm on YouTube because YouTube has this master algorithm. And I do think also when more people click on a video and they're deciding whether they want to watch it or not, one of the metrics I use is I look at likes. If something has a lot of up likes, then... but if it has a lot of down likes, I probably want to watch why it has a lot of down likes. But if a video has a lot of up likes, up votes, is up likes a word? I'm not sure. But if it has a lot of up likes, I'm going to be more willing to give it a chance. Whereas if I click on something that the ratio is a lot smaller, then I'm probably going to be quicker to want to click off it. So while the hardcores might click on something and have an idea what it is, some of the other people who are more newer to your channel or newer to your videos might use the comment metrics. They might scroll through the comments. They might see the likes and dislikes on a video, and they might say, oh, okay, this only has 200 up likes and this, or whatever, not many comments, so therefore I'm not going to watch it. So I think that's why likes help from that standpoint, where I think it just gives you, what the fuck is Gus doing? It just gives you, gives your video a little bit more, it lets the audience know a little bit more about what the viewers thought about your video without you having to actually watch any of the video. So, but yeah, I think a lot. I mean, some people maybe they don't pay attention to it. It's not something I've ever really worried about or stressed about. Up likes, I don't fucking know, man. Up likes, man. I'm not thinking about that kind of stuff a lot. Oh man, get him, Gus. Anytime Gus folds, my heart stops a little bit. I just want to see Gus mixed up in there. Up likes. I can't even be bothered to pay attention to these hands. But I'm going to. Give us all the up likes in the world. All of the up likes in the world. So I think what's going to happen here is Gus is going to be playing a lot of cutoffs. Wow, they just folded. Oh my God. If I was Gus and I was playing in this game and the 2 blinds just folded to my min raise, I would quit the fucking game. If you're Gus, you do not want to be playing in a game where the big blind's folding to your min raise. That should be absurd. You should not be allowed to play this game and fold to the big blind. If you want to know how Gus Hansen has money, go watch the last podcast I did with him, where I asked him about it. But I didn't really ask him. I kind of joked about it. So I felt it out, guys. We'll give you a little strat. I felt it out. I talked about how people always want to know how he makes his money, hoping that he might offer up an answer to that question. How everyone always wants to know how do you get your money, and you hope they might offer you. Obviously, that's a very personal question to ask a lot of people though. So you don't want everyone to come up all right, how do you have money? Because you ain't making money playing this. Probably not something you want to ask somebody. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a good way to ask someone that question when you don't really know them that well. So the answer is yet to be known how Gus has his money, my friends. Is it only from backgammon? Is it from gambling? Is it from other business ventures? Is it from friends? Is it from who knows? Maybe business. It's got to be from business, right? You'd have to imagine Gus has met so many people who are successful at what they do to the point where he probably has had many good opportunities along the way to either invest or be a part of something or lend his name to something or help out from a consulting standpoint or connect people. There's a lot of value in just connecting people together. And when you connect certain people together, sometimes you get finder's fees, sometimes you get consultation fees, sometimes you just get money from certain people for doing certain things. So I imagine Gus is in a good position to maximize a lot of potential on a lot of different things. And a sugar mama, of course, too. That's very true. Matt Hagen, he knew you wanted. Yeah, I know. I agree. He might own Pornhub. That's very true. He could own See, I don't really care how Gus has his money. So that question, I don't care how anyone has their money. People make their money however they make their money. And I think if Gus wanted people to know how he makes his money, he would tell us how he makes his money. So I don't know. So Sam bet pot here on the flop. Checks the turn here. Turn completes the gut shot straight. Big fish. I like this guy. Puts the pressure on. Bets pot. Going to put Sam in a lot of tough spots here with all of his hands. With his sets. With his flush draws. I think Sam's thinking, can he potentially, if he has a hand like a set, could he bluff diamonds on the river? And yeah, just a very tough spot overall for a lot of Sam's hands. The Russian warrior takes it down. Nice hand. It's definitely good to see Gus back in the mix, mixing it up here in the high stakes poker world. It's not going to be good if Gus ends up losing in this session, though, unfortunately. All right, we're uploading the Instagram now. We finally got it through. Should we suggest to Gus that this game is bad now and he should quit? Because this game is kind of bad. I mean, the guy folded his big blind to a min raise, so. Hashtag King says, I think Sam Trickett is Linus Love. Yeah, I've certainly thought that before, too. I could definitely see Sam Trickett end up being Linus Love. All right, I finally put it on my Instagram page. MTY, Joey, do you have a sugar mama? No, I do not. No, I do not. How does short-handed pot limit Omaha change versus 6-max? Casey says. Well, I think overall, you're just playing looser ranges pre-flop. You're going to be the cutoff in the button more often, so therefore you should be opening up your hands a lot more often. And because the cutoff and the button are opening up their range wider, you should be defending wider. You should be 3-betting wider. You should be calling on the button wider. Overall, your range is just open up a lot wider. Therefore, when you get to post-flop, people aren't always going to be as nutted as they might be in 6-handed play. So it just adds a lot more. It adds a lot more bluffing. It adds a lot more check raising. It adds a lot more thin value betting. It adds more hero calling to the game. And then as the table gets more full, 6-handed, 9-handed, of course, ranges are going to tighten up. And therefore, you should be doing those things less. Yeah. I agree. That's true. I agree. I don't know if I agree, actually. Sam with the backdoor trips. So Sam's going on a little bit of a down slope here, unfortunately. Get him, Sam. Joey, did you see Jane's 89 post on his Instagram story yesterday? Winning 112K and 730 hands on party. Yeah, it sounds like something Jeans would do, my friend. That sounds like something Jeans 89 would do. Jeans 89 is one of the best. Matt Muncie says, FBI Poppy, any new revelations with ACR scandals? Man, you gotta be honest with you guys, I haven't really been looking at anything lately. I have been getting out of line this past week, and I have not paid attention to anything happening in poker. I actually don't even know how I don't actually know how I ended up doing any podcast last week. I don't know how I did those. I got inspired for 1 week, and then the inspiration kind of went away for this week, and here we are. All right, Davis, come the fuck down. So Gus Chick calls here on the flop 10-8-3, 2 clubs, turns the 10, pairs that top card. Going to be a better card for Swordfish than for Gus. Swordfish went with a 2/3 pot on the flop there. See what he does here on the turn, if he goes half pot or if he goes back to the 2/3 pot. He bets, what did he bet here? About half pot. Going to put Gus in a lot of tough spots with a lot of straws here. It's going to allow Swordfish to bet a wider range here on the turn as well. Gus just call. River's a jack. Queen 9, 7-9 get there. What will Swordfish do? And, Gus. So Gus has Queen 10, 8-8 there. So he turned nuts. He flopped the mid-set, turned the nuts, and he just check called, and then the river he gets no value from his hand. And yeah. So Gus definitely willing to mix it up a little bit here. I like that. I like that play a lot by Gus. Being balanced, Gus. I like that a lot, Gus. Get him, Gus. Tricky Gus. Swordfish and Big Fish mixing it up. Yeah, I feel like we're going to see overall a lot tighter play from these guys on post-flop straights in situations like this. I don't think we're going to see these guys get too out of line either way. I do think Gus limps the button. I like this. Doesn't want to raise. Wants to play a hand and see the flop. I like this play. I like it. In position. He's going to be in position now. $250,000. I like this play. Get him, Gus. Obviously going to cap his range. He's going to have less ace-X type hands in his range that are suited. So he's very rarely going to have the nut flush here. He's very rarely going to have the second nut flush here with the king. He's probably going to have... What kind of hand is Gus limping the button here with, guys? What do we think? Very disconnected hands. Ace, king, 5-4, no suit. Uh-oh, Big Fish is going to quit. Uh-oh, good night, gents. What kind of Russian says gents? What the fuck? So it goes check, check, turn. River, Swordfish bets half pot. I think Gus is going to call the river. Does he have Jack 8? No, I guess he doesn't have as many King Jacks. He probably raises a lot of his King Jacks pre-flop. Could have Jack 8, though. I like it. Three-handed here, three of the best. Gus Hansen, Sam Trickett, Swordfish AA in the mix. I like this. Very deep stack. Pot Limit Omaha play. The great game of Pot Limit Omaha. 4 cards instead of 2. You know what we came here to do. We did not come here to make a full pre-flop. I don't know. Dave Hemlin says, Joey, learn how to grow a nice garden or play a musical instrument or get into weightlifting to help replace the destructive hobby of poker. I mean, not the worst idea I've ever heard, buddy. Not the worst. I don't know if that guy's actually Russian, because I don't know what... seriously, I don't know what Russian says gents. It's very strange. When am I hopping in this game? Let me listen. I don't know if I can play for America. Let me load up. Let me load up the untracked Euro site. Accessor. The untracked Euro site. Accessor. No, that's definitely not a word. Accessor, no. I don't think that sentence is going to work in that structure at all. Let me load up the untracked. I guess it could work with a couple words in place of accessor. Drew O'Connell, Joey, how do you feel about female poker players romantically? I feel great about them, Drew. Thank you for asking. I feel great about romantically being involved with female poker players. I'm all for it. Is Gus up or down? I do believe Gus is up. I do believe Gus is winning here. My God, do we know who Swordfish AA is? If Swordfish doesn't put his name on this damn table, I don't ever want to watch him again. This is some bullshit. Gus, half pot lead here on the flop with queen 5-5. What do we think Gus has? Checks it back quickly. What do we think Gus has? A queen? A weak queen? No, we don't get to see. Swordfish shows down the ace, queen, jack 7, I think. Coco 955, he says, hey, Joey, great podcast with Barry this other week. Thank you, my friend. Much love, Poppy. Much love. Thank you. So Gus limp calls the small blind here. Sam checks back a7, 2 flop, turn 5. Gus goes with the pot size bet here. Takes it down. How did Swordfish get his $386,000 stack? He's been playing a lot of pots, man. I don't recall. I think he had a big stack when I got here. I don't really remember any huge pots. He did stack. He sent the Swedish Knit Busto, so he did stack them there. So Sam's going to 3-bet here pre-flop. Gus is going to call. Queen jack 6, 2 clubs. Sam bets half pot. As you can see, a half pot is a favorite of these young players. Gus! Get him, Gus! Gus raises. Sam folds pretty quickly. Gus takes it down. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see... Yeah, I mean, when you get this deep stack here, I think a lot of players have different strategies. Some players 3-bet a lot less. Some players 3-bet a lot more. I think that against Gus, I would, if he's min raising, I'm probably going to be 3-betting at a similar frequency. I wonder if I 3-bet. I'm probably going to 3-bet a little bit more, depending on how I have a handle of Gus's post-flop play. If I was 400 big blinds deep against him. I think in the small blind, yeah. So Swordfish 4-bet here pre-flop. Sam goes ahead and calls. Turn pairs the board. I don't think Sam's going to have any... He could have some king queens in his range here. I don't know if he's going to have that many king queens, though. I think he would check raise a lot of those pre-flop. He did 3-bet, so I think he's going to have more connected king queen type hands. If he had a set, he probably would check raise the flop too, but not always because how deep they are. But Swordfish does end up taking down the pot on the turn with the $5,800 bet. Yeah, it's a tough spot for Sam there to really continue with any hand that doesn't have a queen in it. Because I think Swordfish is going to be 4-betting other hands besides just aces. He's going to be 4-betting some kings, some queens, some rundown type hands as well too. So he also is going to have aces as well. If you have Jack 10, you're going to be drawn dead. If you have a king, you're going to be drawn dead. Or pretty slim rather. So Gus limps here. Swordfish raises the big blind. They both call. Swordfish once again. Going with that half pot. Half pot. You guys better go bet half pot after this. Let me know how it works out, my friends. Sam Stack's dwindling down here. So Swordfish looks like he's playing tighter in the small blind versus the big blind. Uh-oh, Sam sits out. Oh, we might see some heads up here. So we're going to see some heads up now. Swordfish. Let's see if he has the heart to battle against Gus. Is he going to be too scared to play Gus? I hope he isn't scared to play Gus. Gus leads pot on the flop here. 9-7-5. He could have 6-8s. He's going to have some blockers. 5-7-6 type hands as well. River's the 8. So 6 gets there. 10-jack gets there. He bets pot. And Swordfish does go ahead and fold. Annie Kahn, like the commentary. Thank you, Annie. Swordfish is no, he's not. Two of the best here. Heads up. Let's get it. Let's see what happens here. I'm rooting for Gus. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, Gus picking up a page out of the half pot book. That's the river with the king, queen, do say it. Gus trying to adopt the half pot strategy there. Chooses the king, queen. Deuce 6. Has the gut shot. Missed there. Turned his bottom pair into a bluff. Did not work out as Swordfish backdoor 2 pair with the 9 deuce 5-6. Get him, Gus. Punish him, Gus. Min bet for the culture, Gus. So we'll see if this. We'll see how long this heads up match lasts here. Very deep, 100-200. What is Gus doing, man? Why is Gus min raising? Can somebody answer this question? Can someone please tell me why Gus is min raising? I want to know what's going on here. What is he doing? He bets 400 here on the flop. Mix it up, Gus. I love watching Gus play. This is great. We need Isildur in this game. Any thoughts about the underground USA PLO sites, Jordan asks. My thoughts on those sites are that I enjoy them. But who knows what's happening on them? Is there out of line play happening on them? Who knows? I don't know. It's a great question. What site is this? Trevor Jones asks. Listen, Trevor, I'm going to challenge you to open up your mind, open up your heart, and try to use indicators on the screen to figure out what potential poker room this could be. Uh-oh. Gus insta-check pots the flop here when Swordfish goes to that quarter pot sizing. I like Swordfish. Mixing up with the sizes. Goes to quarter pot. Goes to half pot. Has the full pot. Liking what I'm seeing. We are not going to see a big pot with this limp pot strategy of Gus limping the button. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you're out there watching this right now and you cannot figure out what site we're playing on after about 1 to 5 minutes watching, then you are probably not going to be winning at poker. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you cannot understand that we are playing, listen, I've answered Trevor. This guy's crying. Trevor, you know what, guy? I gotta pull this out. If you have a fucking attitude like this guy Trevor had, let me see you what Trevor said. Let me show you what a fucking losing mentality is, guys. Hold on, you guys watching? He says, how much easier would it have been to tell me, but how much less cool you look answering it how you did. First of all, Trevor, bro, you got a losing fucking mentality. How many people do you think asked this question so far? All right. I oftentimes am going to answer the question seriously. I'm going to say they're on fucking party poker, Trevor. But sometimes I'm going to mix up my strategy. Sometimes I'm going to say something back. Sometimes I just can't take enough. And somebody finally says something, starts crying like a little fucking girl in here. Why don't you just tell me? Why don't you just tell me? Hey, you look cool. Listen, buddy. Sometimes you got to mix up your fucking plan. If you can't take an answer like that, laugh it off, and fucking move on and find the answer, if you're going to start crying and complaining about that, you got bigger problems in your life, buddy, okay? You fucking tell me. Come on, Trevor. Get your fucking shit together, bro. You're crying about that? Why don't you just tell me? Why don't you just fucking look? Look on the screen, Trevor. Use your awareness. Use it, bro. Come on, man. Look, it says party poker right in the middle. Am I crazy? Trevor, am I crazy? Look, it says it says party poker. Look, Trev. This is better. I'm helping you out. I promise you I'm helping you out. I just am. I'm serious. And I don't know. We don't want to let's not call Trevor names, man. I'm not calling him no names. I'm just saying this is going to help him. All right? You don't want people holding your hand. If people are just answering every easy question for you, how are you ever going to figure out the answers yourself, bro? You know what I'm saying? You open up your hands, open up your minds, open up your heart, open up your soul. Put your fucking glasses on. You look around. Where are we playing at, Trevor? Where are we playing, bro? Is it Poker Stars? No, this doesn't look like Poker Stars, right? No, okay. Is this ACR? I don't know. Doesn't look like ACR to me. All right, watch. Look in the middle of the screen. Party poker. Bam. There you go, Trev. Get it. But I like Trevor. No, I like Trevor. I think Trevor's a necessary. I like Trevor a lot. You guys are being mean. I like Trevor. I think Trevor's cool. I can understand where he's coming from with that question. I totally get it. I'm helping him out. Gus is asking. I love Trevor too. I got love for Trevor. I really do. Gus talking in the chat said, are you going to be in Barcelona? Yeah, this match has died down. I'm falling asleep here, guys. Come on, what's happening here? Where's Luce Leon back? I got love for Trevor. Shout out to Trevor, man. I got love for him. Uh-oh. Gus has had enough here. So he raises the flop here. Swordfish calls, turns the king. Gets checked through. And Swordfish has middle set here on the flop. So who was the fish in this game? Was the fish the Swedish net guy? I think the fish was actually the Swedish guy. If the players are leaving when he left. Because when the Swedish guy left, the other guy left, Russian Warrior, and then Sam sat out and left too. Not sure about this match, guys. I don't know how much more my heart can take this. I don't know how much more my heart can take a limp on the button. I can't. My heart is hurting. Pot limit Omaha is not meant to be played by limping on the button. Although it is heads up, so you don't really want to fold the button. So I can understand Gus's desire to want to limp the button. Might not make for the most entertaining at-home experience, but it does make for a quite GTO pot limit Omaha play experience. I think that makes sense. Marcus says, I'm pretty sure the Swede wasn't the fish. I don't know. Maybe it was. I mean, typically the game breaks when the fun player leaves and the fun player isn't there. We're going to give this game a little bit more action, my friends. But we might have to wrap it up. If you think it's boring, Matthew Kim, that's okay. I'm trying to find anything I can learn. I'm trying to figure out how can I learn from this situation. I'm watching. I'm finding the learning experience. I'm finding the bet size strategies they're doing. I'm trying to pick up tendencies. I'm trying to pick up strategies. I'm trying to identify what's happening here. I'm trying to get better here. Matthew, I'm trying to find the beauty in the game that is heads up hot limit Omaha by min raising limp in the button. I'm trying to find the beauty in bet sizing strategies and tendencies and half pot bet sizing. I'm finding the beauty here in Gus Hansen betting half pot on that turn and checking back the river. Gus sits out, game's over. That's it. Gus is going to sleep. Much love. That was fun. So Gus Hansen ended up winning about He ended up winning about 200 some $1,000. Swordfish cashed out $400K. A very great match to watch, my friends. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate all the questions, all the comments, all everything. It was a lot of fun. And make sure you go back and watch the podcast what Gus did yesterday. That's it. Maybe we get one of these again. Maybe we don't get one of these again. Am I hearing that out of line? I mean, I guess it's kind of normal. So that's it, guys. That's all I got. Much love out there. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for everything. You guys were fun. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like. That's it. Much love, everybody. Peace.